Look, there's work all over Australia. When you come to Australia, don't.
So how was the process of getting a job? How was job hunting for you?
So that gave me an incentive to start looking for work.
So would you advise or would you recommend someone to start job hunting while still in school or later?
So I did look for work everywhere. To be honest, I looked for work in a couple of oil rigs.
So guys, thank you so much for holding up and being here ready to listen to Dennis part 2. So guys, if you've not watched for part 1, you can watch part 1 where we talked about Dennis coming to Australia, and now we are going to talk about Dennis now having graduated and getting his first job. So guys, keep it locked here. Subscribe if you've not subscribed, share, comment, and like the video. So thank you so much again, Dennis, for being here. It's a pleasure for me having you in my channel.
Thank you for having me.
All right, so I'm going to ask you a few questions once more, and my first question is going to be, how was your transition from student visa to the next visa? Which one did you, and we don't know which visa you went to, so you might share.
Yeah, so I finished my studies, and that's really when you have your visa ending as well. So I had applied for my graduate visa. I was looking to apply for my PR. However, you need to sort of bridge in between. So I did bridge it with a graduate visa, and immediately after I applied for my PR, I was lucky enough back then to already be practicing in my field. So I was able to apply for my PR and the state nomination. With using my post-study experience as well as part of that.
Oh, thank you so much, Dennis. So and now we all know that now you've finished, you've graduated. So how was the process of getting a job? How was job hunting for you now as a civil engineer?
Not easy. So I started actually applying for work when I was in my third year.
Yeah. Impressive.
So you basically have 4 years, and I remember the lecturer asked in one of our final courses how many students have jobs lined up, and most of my Australian colleagues had some work already lined up. So that gave me an incentive to start looking for work. So I was able to get some recommendations from my lecturers to look for work in different sectors, and I was able to secure a job right after graduation because I'd already started such a long time ago.
Yeah. So would you advise or would you recommend someone to start job hunting while still in school or later after graduation?
Definitely as early as possible.
Right.
So if you can start job hunting in your second year, why not? If you can start in your third year,
right,
why not? So for us with engineering, you can apply to become a student member for Engineers Australia when you're in your third year. So I was able to get my membership quite early, and using that and what I was basically studying, I was able to start applying for work. But it's very difficult to get work, obviously, when you're an undergrad before you graduate, but there's always a possibility for everything.
Right. So Dennis, where did you get your job in metropolitan Adelaide, or what part of Adelaide did you get your job?
So I did look for work everywhere, to be honest. I looked for work in a couple of oil rigs off of the coast of Australia. I looked for work in governments, in the private sector, and my first job was in regional South Australia. So it was about 2 hours away from Adelaide.
Yeah. So in your job, did you have any other different nationalities apart from the mainstream people?
Yes, we did. So out in regional South Australia, there's a few, they're not many, but little pockets of Asians and Indians. So I was able to work with one Indian, and there's also one Kenyan as well,
Impressive.
who was working in the same place.
And Dennis, so from your work, what was your roles and responsibilities? And then the next question, which I would love you to combine, is how did the community perceive you, especially in the remote area? How did everyone perceive you?
Right. So my role in regional South Australia was I was a civil projects engineer. So I was in charge of designing of road elements right through to project management. So basically, we would go in and we would survey a road, then we'd take it back, do a proper design. Then we would seek funding from stakeholders. Then from that, we would be able to build the actual road. The community out there, they're not really used to, immigrants going in and being able to manage a group of people who are there, like your construction team. So they, at first, they sort of, how would I put it lightly? They would try and understand where you're from, what's your background, what did you do to get here. Some of them are amazed. Some of them are much more like, how do I actually get to be you, or how does my children get to do as you are? But eventually, over time, they get to see your work.
So Dennis, I would love you to give our viewers your final advice and remarks, and your recommendations, especially in your field.
So I'd pretty much say, look, I can only speak much for engineering. I can't really say much about everything else. But look, there's work all over Australia. When you come to Australia, don't limit yourself to the city. Go out there into the bush, into the center of Australia. There's a lot more work out there that people here do not want to go out to. And wherever you start. So you'll be able to grow from there.
Right. So thank you so much, Dennis, for honoring my invite. It's been such a pleasure interviewing you. So thank you guys so much for watching this episode. If you've not watched part 1, kindly go back and watch, and then you'll understand Dennis more. If you have any questions that you'd love me to ask Dennis, especially if you want to do engineering, or you would want me to ask him any other interesting questions, just leave them in the comment section, and we might consider having a part 3 with Dennis. So anyway, guys, thank you. Until there, I'll see you on the next video. Bye. Bye, Dennis.
Bye.